welcome to Union City. This is Spin the District crit in Speed Week. So we are a little closer to Atlanta right now. This is roughly day 4 of Speed Week. We did Greenville, Athens, Peachtree Corners, and this is a Dorito-shaped course, as it is affectionately known for the shape of the course. Anyway, start out pretty sharp corner, first corner, but you can actually pedal through it most of the time, and it is just one of those that kind of scares some people and does this effect of bunching up in the entrance, and then you kind of have to accelerate onto the back of the group. I'm obviously not accelerating on the back of the group here, but the next corner is probably the sharpest one with the most load. Not the biggest deal, but can make for some interesting racing. Really slows down the course and removes most of the flow out of the course. In front of me here, Luke Fetzer, leader's jersey. He gets chicken winged by one of the Pikers team members, and he just overlaps the wheel in front of him and goes down, which was a little scary incident, but he was pretty okay, I think, after that. That's racing. Anyway, we keep going on. You can see Fetzer there in the corner making his opinion known on that matter. And then I get flicked through by Gomez, which I happily did not do. And then Matthew Crabb accelerated into this next group. This kind of represents the racing on this course of stuff getting away on the slightly uphill second stretch there after the first corner, and then people will just not follow it from time to time. There's a little attack from me about 10-11 minutes into this. I could tell it was getting pretty bunched up. Unfortunately, I am pretty marked at this point, being second in the overall. They actually announced right at the start line that I was 1 point behind Fetzer, which I didn't know because I couldn't find the overall points, but I eventually did find the overall points. And here goes Fetzer counterattacking me. Pretty good move. I'm kind of competing with their team, but we flew a guy in. This here on the left is Santiago Zapata, and he actually broke his bike when he flew in. So we put a little band-aid on it. Just kidding. He rode my wind space, as you can see right there. But Santiago's super strong and is going to help me out for the rest of the series. So I have a teammate that is going to do some work for me, help me beat this Skyline Cadence team, who brought plenty of guys and have plenty of firepower. There's a little break up the field, up the road. Again, you can see those 3 guys through that corner. And yeah, we're just going to kind of try and keep it together. Maybe put a guy in between Fetzer and I. We did go for some sprints, but I think Fetzer beat me in one of them, and then I just didn't get that many points for the rest. I was in the virtual lead halfway through this race after getting a point sprint, or beating Fetzer in one of them. And then at the end, it was really all down to just if I could beat Fetzer, put a guy in between us. Here we go. I am attacking about halfway through this race into that speedy little corner there, sending it off the front. You can see this race, if you attack, it can hurt a lot of people. Usually it's pretty negative. Guys just fall off the back, and it tends to be like a smaller breakaway up the road. But you can see some bigger breaks are going. So right now there's a rather large breakaway up the road, and I kind of want it back. So I'm going to accelerate behind this biker's rider. Dive into this corner. Yeah, it's just super stretched out. It really gets stretched out after that corner too. So a little later in the race, and I want to get across to a move. Yeah, we're about halfway through. So I'm trying to get across to a move and send it through that corner. I think I actually pedaled through that corner for the first time, realizing that you could. The exit gets a little sketchy. There was one point where a Skyline rider sent it a little too hard and lost his glasses somehow, ended up in the grass. I'm not sure if anybody was hurt by that, but a little later we have Clever Martinez also wanting to get across to that move. So I followed him, got on his wheel, and we continued on with the race. Pretty sure Clever kept hitting it on the front here for the rest of this lap, and we ended up catching a group. But there was another group up in front of them. this race is just splitting apart, just like shredding into chaos. Santiago actually ended up getting on the front for me and pacing back, just a nice steady pace on the front on a borrowed bike. He's got wheel top on that bike, so this is a full China setup he's got going on. He even had a Chinese saddle that I had set up on this bike to do a video on, like an all China build that I never got around to, but Santiago got to try it. So we built that bike about 10 minutes before. He ended up actually setting up a pretty good counterattack move for me, so once he decided to stop pulling, I counterattacked over the top, try to get to this little move up in the front, hopefully put the hurt on everyone else. You can see, yeah, there's actually a big move up in the front. That's like 10 guys. Eventually got across to it after about a lap of chasing, but you can see right here why I was so worried about that move, because Fetzer was in it, and I didn't want to lose a bunch of points if he had done well in that sprint. So we've got ourselves, I think, another little gap. I yelled at him to keep going. We've got a lot of guys, so the chances of this breakaway working, medium, but especially when stuff like this happens, when it just sits up. But you can see some other guys up in the front, so hoping that we can get a little move going. The year before at this race, I just over-raced it and was exhausted by the end, so I did save a little bit, just keeping that in mind. Only got 18 minutes left to go in this race. 2 guys up the road. I think we ended up pulling them back in this next straight, but it was hard. Everybody was going pretty hard this whole race. You don't really get a flow. You can't really save energy that easily on this course. Like, it just takes a lot out of you. Up here, Michael Garrison comes up to me, asks me if we need help. Said I think we're good. There's a little break up the road, and I'd like it back, but I'm not willing to work for it because Fetzer's right there. And I'd rather get into leader's jersey on this day than win the race. A little bit later, we get that move back, and then Garrison counterattacks over it. Robin goes, I'm on Danny Summerhill's wheel, and Danny yells at Robin that it's the move. So Robin gets on Garrison's wheel. There's under 10 minutes to go in this race, and I think everybody kind of realizes that's a solid move. Garrison's got a lot of power. Robin's an excellent breakaway rider and has teammates to stop it. We get 6 minutes to go in this race, roughly 5 laps to go, and my teammate Santiago is going to pull in the front, try and get this a little bit farther back, maybe bridging distance. I am not really wanting to lose the race to Fetzer, but staying up at the front is going to help a bunch. He's still got Lucas Burgoyne back there, Richard Holick, who actually is going to come through on the right here and start trying to pull that break back with us. I was kind of curious why they didn't have more guys come up and try to pull with us, and then with 2 laps to go, that's exactly what happened. You can see Burgoyne right there, and Fetzer there. I kind of get shuffled back a little bit, which is not exactly what I wanted to happen with roughly a lap and a half to go here. So I'm going to try and stay on Fetzer's wheel as much as I possibly can. This corner gets dicey the last few laps. People are just dive bombing it, trying to make up position. I just want to stay safe, let a little too much of a gap go, so I'm having to do over 1,000 watts to stay on that wheel, which obviously is not ideal in the last few laps of this race. But I'm just going to keep floating as much as I possibly can. And so we're floating. We have a lap to go after this corner. Get a little chop by the biker's rider. Have to accelerate out of the corner again. Keep going through. We're going to finish this race out. It's very lined up. We're going quite fast into the first corner yet again. Alright, coming through this first corner, I'm going to have to move up. I know I'm going to have to move up, and it's going to take some effort. So I hit it out of that corner. There's not really a lot of space. Maybe I can dive the inside of this next corner, but up at the front, you've got the Skyline guys, some biker guys going on the outside. Everybody's going hard. This is not an easy last lap, and we're all banking on this next corner being pretty consequential. You can see everybody kind of dives the inside and then kind of goes pretty far outside. I was able to follow Preston I's move there pretty well, so we made up a lot of spots. I'm in front of Fetzer right now, So I'm feeling like I'm in a pretty good position, but looking for like the inside up here, although we are going 33 miles an hour still, accelerating out of that turn pretty hard. I don't want to blow a match here, but Fetzer did. He dive bombed his corner pretty well, slotted right in. This foundation rider let a gap go, and I was trying to catch back up to them. Anyway, ended up right behind Fetzer. First out of the break, Robin Carpenter. Garrison stayed away with him, and Danny Summerhill won the field sprint. They ended up putting a rider in between me and Fetzer. Well, two riders in between me and Fetzer, so I lost even more points than I thought I would, but it was only 5 points, so not a huge deal. Super fun race. Excited to do the rest of Speed Week. Thanks for watching. See ya.